We are beginning chapter 4, fractions, decimals, and percents. In this chapter, we have 3 sections. Today we're going to focus on 4.1, connect fractions, decimals, and percents. Then we're going to have a quiz real quick here on that one. Then we'll deal with 4.2, fractions, decimals, and percents, a little more detail. And then in 4.3, we're going to work on applying that knowledge with percents. Then there will be another quiz, we'll do some review, and we'll end up with another unit exam. Turn the page, and we've got our I can statements. So today, we should be able to round decimals, put fractions into lowest terms, convert fractions, decimals, and percents in any order, so back and forth between the different types. And you need to be able to compare fractions, decimals, and percents on a number line. In 4.2, you're going to be able to order fractions, decimals, percents in ascending, or getting bigger, or descending order, which is getting smaller. And you'll be able to practice converting your fractions, decimals, and percents again in any order. Once we get to 4.3, you're going to be able to perform all of the above skills in word problems or using higher order thinking problems. So for the get ready, we've got numbers between is the name of this section. And the first question says, use the number lines to help you list the whole numbers between. And for part A, it's between 68 and 72. And we've got a number line here, which is real helpful. And if we count, we're looking at whole numbers, so we can just count 68, 69, 70, 71, and then there's 72. So those are the numbers between 68 and 72 right there on your number line. Same process involved here for between 108 and 116, but the number line doesn't have the end numbers. Fortunately, we're counting by whole numbers, so if we start at 108, 109, 110, 111, and keep going up. And when you get to the end, you will have 116. So that's question 1. Question 2, which number is the number in the box closest to, and then circle the number. So for part A, we've got a number here in the box, 38. So we need to figure out, is it closer to 30 or 40? And we're going to skip count by 2's on our number line here. So we start at 30, and we're going to go up by 2. So 32, 34, 36, 38, and then 40. Perfect. So we need to identify, to start with, the number in the box, which is right here, number 38. And the question is 38 closer to 40 or to 30? And quite quickly you should be able to tell that it's closer to 40. It's just one space away on our number line. So the answer is 40, so we're going to circle 40. For part B, we're going to skip count by 3's. So 15, 18, 21, and then 24. We're looking for the number 18, so I'm going to put a box around that one. And we're trying to figure out, is it closer to 15 or 24? Well, it is slightly closer to 15, so I'm going to circle the 15. Then lastly, the range is 4.6 to 5.6. We're trying to figure out if 5.4 is closer to this end or this end. It is started here, and it looks like we're skip counting by 0.1. So 4.8, 4.9, 5.0, 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, 5.4, 5.5, and then 5.6. So the number in question again is 5.4, so we're going to draw a box around that. And then look, 4.6 is down here, 5.6 is here. The box is much, much closer to 5.6 than it is to 4.6, so I'm going to draw a circle around 5.6. So that's that section. Next up, a little bit of information about number lines. And number lines show the position of one number compared with other numbers. It's important to know the number line interval. So we've got a term here that we need to worry about. And that term interval is important. An interval is the space between tick marks on a number line. If the number line counts by tens, then the interval is 10. So as you can see here on this number line, we're starting at 0 and we jump 10, 20, 30. So the interval is the space between two numbers. And in this case, 10 minus 0 is 10. So that's an interval of 10. 10 to 20 is a difference of 10 as well, so that interval is 10. And then 20 to 30, that's a difference of 10, so that interval is 10. So the interval stays consistent or constant when you're working on a number line. And in that particular case, the interval is 10. Number lines can also be horizontal, which is side to side, or vertical, up and down. This particular one counts by tens, 0, 10, 20, 30, 40. This one, there are ticks showing counting by 5. Now we started at 0 and we go up to get bigger. Now 5 isn't shown, but there is a tick. 10 is there, 15 isn't there, but there's a tick. 20, 25, and 30. Now with number lines, going up gets bigger, going down gets smaller. And if you look at an old-fashioned thermometer, that's exactly what a thermometer is. It's a number line. You will see freezing is at 0, and then it will go up if you're talking about Celsius. And if it's below freezing, then you're going into negative numbers downward. On a horizontal number line, as you move to the right, the numbers get bigger. As you move to the left, the numbers get smaller. So that's a little bit about number lines. Number 3 here, the question is, what letter is at 5? So we're talking about this number line here. We've got 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 are indicated, so our intervals are 10. But if we look at 5, which is exactly halfway between 0 and 10, there is a dot here, and that is marked with an A. So that's the letter that is 5. What number is at point B? Well, let's find point B. It's right in the middle between 10 and 20. So the number is right in the middle between 10 and 20, and that number is going to be 15. What number is halfway between 20 and 40? Well, there's 20, there's 40. There's a tick right in the middle, which happens to be 30. So that one's easy. Parts D. C is halfway between B and D. What number is at C? Well, C is also halfway between 20 and 30, which means its value is between 20 and 30, and the middle number between that is 25. If you wanted to, you could say, well, we know B is at 15, and D is at, well, halfway between 30 and 40, so that's 35. So C is right in the middle of that. That's a difference of 20, so 10 higher is 25, 10 lower is 25. Same answer. So there's a couple ways you can approach it. 4, fill in the blanks on the number line. Now, there's a couple of references on here. We've got 25, 35, and 45. But it looks like there's a weird number of spaces here. So we need to count the number of intervals. And if we count, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5 intervals between two numbers that we've been given. So we check the difference between those two numbers, 25 and 35. The difference is 10. So the numbers have to grow 10 in that space. But we have 5 intervals, so we can take 10 and divide it by the number of intervals. So 10 divided by 5 gives us 2. So that means each interval is worth 2. So we're skip counting by 2's. So if we're starting at 25, then we're going to go to 27. Then 29, 31, 33. Oh, and there's 35. But we're not done. We'll keep going. 37, 39, 41, 43, and then 45. So now we've got it labeled. We know that the number line counts by 2's. The next question is, what two numbers are closest to L? Well, L is right here. On either side of that, I've got a 31 and a 33. So those are the closest numbers that are marked on the number line. What number is L? Well, it's going to be right in the middle between 31 and 33. And there's only one whole number that fits in the middle of that, and that's 32. All right, comparing and ordering numbers. So we can use words, symbols, or a number line to compare and order numbers. This number line here shows the numbers 2, and there's dots on here to represent them. There's a 2, there's a 1.9, and there's a 2.4. The number 2 lies between 1.9 and 2.4. It's not right in the middle, but it is still between them. So, counting from smallest to largest, we start on the left side of our number line and we move to the right. And every time we encounter one of the numbers, we can write it down. So the first one is 1.9. Then we hit a dot with a 2. And then the last dot is 2.4. So from smallest to largest, they're in this order. Now, when you're comparing numbers, you can use symbols like greater than, less than, or equal to. In this case, we know that this is a specific order where they're getting bigger. So 1.9 is less than 2, and that is less than 2.4. So remember, this symbol means less than. Now, if we wanted to go in the other direction, go from largest to smallest, we're going to start on the right side of our number line and work to our left and write down the numbers as we encounter them. Well, the first dot is 2.4, the second dot is a 2, and then the third dot is 1.9. So that's the order going from largest to smallest. So we can say that 2.4 is larger than 2 or greater than 2, which is also greater than 1.9. If you're forgetting your symbols, I learned it where it's a crocodile's mouth and he's hungry, so he's going for the biggest number. So the biggest number goes here, so that could be 10 and that could be 1, for instance. He's going to go for the best meal. Now, the other way to look at it, this opening is bigger than this tip is, so the bigger number goes on the opening. The smaller number goes on the point. So that's the other way to look at it. Question 5. Use the less than, equal to, or greater than symbols to make each statement true. Well, 28 and 30. 30 is bigger, so crocodile eats the 30. 28.1 and 27.9. We can check the 10's position first. They're both 2's. So that's not going to tell us which one's bigger. So let's check the 1's position. This is an 8. This is a 7. Well, 8 is bigger. So 28.1 is greater than 27.9. 37 and 37.0. Those are the same numbers. If you add a decimal 0, it doesn't change the value. So that's equal. 1/4 and 3/4. If you have a quarter in your pocket, you don't have as much money as if you had 3/4 in your pocket. So 3/4 is bigger than 1/4. So 1/4 is less than 3/4. All right. Next up is the warm-up.